Hi, Bill here. Like to look at the moves of the Queen's Bishop in the opening. So all the possible moves from the starting square. If you move the B pawn, Bishop might go to B2. It's on the long diagonal right through the centre of the board, and it may attack this square right in front of the opponent's king once they've castled. And it goes right through the centre. Bishop on A3 may stop the opponent from castling. Bishop moves to A3, may pin the king pawn. If the king pawn moves, white can exchange and black will not be able to castle kingside. Bishop to A3 may attack a pawn on E7 and it may be pinned to a rook if black has castled. Bishop to A3 may stop the king from castling. Bishop D2 may defend a knight or any other unit on the C3 square. It might even be lined up with a queen, as in this case, so here it unpins the knight. Moving the one square to the centre is generally a defensive move. Bishop to E3 controls two long diagonals. Generally bishop on the third rank, one of these two squares is pretty good, or also on the fourth rank. Bishop to F4 might attack a pawn on C7. Bishop F4 might be biffed by a pawn coming to E5. Bishop G5. If there's a knight on F6, it might pin the knight to the queen. When the bishop's on G5, sometimes you might take the knight to weaken the black pawns, especially in front of the king. Bishop to H6 is often not safe because if the pawn hasn't moved, it can take the bishop. However, here it's safe and it stops black from castling. And after black has castled, bishop H6 will attack the rook, so black will waste time moving the rook. Sometimes bishop H6, defended by a queen, threatens to swap off their bishop, which may be helping to defend their king. Now for the king bishop. So yeah, as with the queen bishop, there are a lot more choices of squares than with the knight. Okay, so here we've got bishop E2. Moving to E2 or D2 is generally defensive. Here it defends the knight and unpins it. The bishop was pinning the knight to the queen. Now we move it two squares. It's a more aggressive move. It's hitting a pawn. Here the castle black king. You've got two long diagonals in two directions. Moving to C4. Pins the pawn to the king. Another quite useful diagonal, provided the bishop is not hitting a pawn guarded by a pawn. Bishop to knight 5. If there's a knight on C6, it will be pinning the knight to the king. Bishop to A6. Again, often not possible because the black pawn is on B7. But here, it controls the entry square for the open C file. So it's difficult for black to challenge the file. Bishop G2 puts the bishop on the longest diagonal of the board. The bishop controls the two squares in the centre. And if white castles kingside, the bishop will help defend the white squares. Bishop H3, particularly good if you go to G2 and it's blocked by a pawn. So you've got quite a long diagonal for the bishop there. And that covers all the possible squares for the white bishop and a few of the reasons of when they're good and when they're not so good. Okay, so thank you for watching.